This is the Bakash Media Foundation series of Career Essential series. This is our second season, and today happens to be our third episode. Yes. And Bakash Media Foundation is partnering with Opportunity Trackers and Birungi Charities to bring to you this wonderful show. And today we are expecting a lot from our panelists who are about to join in, and I'll be making a brief introduction shortly of them. To those that have not seen the poster, I will still make a brief introduction about them as we go forth. But this is Bakash Media Career Guidance, Career Essential Series, Season 2, like I said, and this is our second episode. And our topic today, I can see our inbox is actually doing good. Hi, everyone. My name is Joanita. I am happy to be here. I'm actually new here, but I hope to learn a lot from you people. You're welcome, Joanita. Feel at home. And yes, I can promise you that you're going to learn a lot. A lot. I don't know if there's a better word rather than a lot, but I mean, you're going to learn more than a lot. Yes, and this is the Bakash Media Career Essential Series, and our topic today is dealing with career burnouts. To those that don't know the meaning of burnouts, I know maybe I'm one of them, but I would like to inform you all the meaning of burnout is a state where you reach and you're exhausted. It's a state of giving up, a state of wanting to quit. Burnout is almost, okay, people misuse that word, but I'd like to use it in a better way. It's a point when you're at the climax of exhaustion, like you've reached the peak and you want to quit. So we want to address that. We want to address that point and give you hope or tell you what to do and what not to do when you're at that point of burning out in your career. Yes. I'll be waiting for a signal from our team of Bakash Media if all our panelists are here. And if they're here, we shall immediately kick into our program for today. But in the meantime, like I said, let's keep utilizing the inbox. Yes. I already given an introduction about Bakash Media, but I can redo it again to those that have just entered in and tell you that you're very welcome. Bakash Media Foundation is a non-profit devoted to spreading information, usually in the form of short, powerful talks, just like this one. Less than 3 hours, and this is going to be 1.5 hours. And the foundation began since 2019 as a single university forum where a few resourceful personalities were invited to share their career journey to the students of Makerere University. Bakash Media Foundation is creating a community welcoming people from every career discipline and path who seek a deeper understanding of their career. We believe passionately in the power of stories, insights, and professional insights to change the attitudes, lives, and ultimate influence informed career choices in the world. Bakash Media Foundation, in our growth strategy, we hope to build and grow a platform of free knowledge from the best and most inspired career mentors and a community of curious career pursuers to engage with ideas and each other, both online and physically. We've been having physical engagements as Bakash Media Foundation, still about the career. And but due to the current situation, we resorted to this, but we still have them rolling in, and we cannot wait to unveil to you all what we have in store. Bakash Media Foundation also is providing skill improvement that is going to start next year. So you can enroll, and the information is going to be put by the administrator in the inbox. So you can just check in and see if you want to improve a skill. They're going to be providing different skills improvement to all of us. I personally cannot wait to be part of it. I have noticed one of our panelists is already in the building. Mr. Kassaga James Arinaitwe, you are very, very welcome. It is such an honor to have you here, and we cannot wait to unveil and listen to all that you have to tell us. Thank you so much for logging in and being here on time. And to our audience, we can expect more and more and more to come through today through our panelists and the discussions that you're going to have. Prepare your questions, be ready to learn. And yes, I can promise you that this is going to be a life-changing experience. So better get those books, better get those pens, write down and learn with us today. Yes, we're going to address the issues of burning out in the career journey. Yeah. As I said, we're still utilizing the inbox session, so you can tell us what you do. Those have just logged in. We are introducing ourselves. Personally, my name is Anne Babazi. I am a host at My Story Show. I am a poet. I am a writer. I'm an influencer. Yes, you can follow me on my Instagram, AnneBabazi7. You can follow me on my Twitter. It's AnneBabazi7. You can follow me on Facebook. It's just Anne Babazi. And you can follow me on YouTube. It's Anne Babazi, My Story Show. Yes, and today is about to be fire. Let's welcome our friends. Welcome them to learn and be inspired. So you can follow Bakash Media on Instagram. It is Bakash Media. You can follow them on Twitter, Bakash Media UG. You can follow them on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, share, do all those nice things that people do on accounts. Yes, it's Bakash Media Foundation on YouTube. Yes, and today we are already starting off. I can see our panelists are coming through. And yes, okay. Our topic today, like I said earlier, is dealing with career burnouts. We're going to deal with those moments when you want to quit, give up, and when you're exhausted. We want to deal with those moments of weakness in your career journey. And we've gotten the best, should I call it creme de la creme, like the French say? Yes, we have creme de la creme to deal with our career burnouts. And already in the house, we have Mr. Kassaga James Arinaitwe, and you are very welcome here. Yes, and to our audience, yes, like I said, we have to expect a lot from today's engagement. Today, in our panel, we're going to have Mr. Andrew Mwenda, who most of you would like to identify like the old man of the clan. He's about to log in shortly. And we already have in the house today, we have Mr. Kassaga James Arinaitwe. And yes, I think it's a network issue, but he's going to be coming back shortly. Mr. Kassaga James Arinaitwe is the CEO and founder of Teach for Uganda, a locally led and globally informed leadership organization developing Ugandans' emerging leaders to address institutional and systematic challenges facing the education and social sector in Uganda. Mr. Andrew Mwenda is a Ugandan print, radio and television journalist, and he is the founder and owner of the Independent magazine. He was previously the political editor of the Daily Monitor, a Ugandan daily newspaper. And he was the presenter of Andrew Mwenda Live on KFM radio in Kampala. Yes. Later in the day, we are going to have Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko. He's a retired member of parliament, and she's now serving as the chairperson of governing boards of Uganda Agribusiness Alliance, and she's the vice person, Private Sector Foundation of Uganda. She's a board member of BRAC International and other boards. Previously, she was a member of parliament and the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry for 9 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that today it is going down, like the saying of today goes. Yes. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, give Mr. Kassaga our word to unmute, greet us, and yes, tell us more about himself as we roll on to the next program. Thank you, sir. If you are here, you can unmute and greet us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. I hope you can hear me and the Bakash team. Thanks for having me today. I'm Kassaga James Arinaitwe, the Executive Director and co-founder Teach for Uganda. I am honored the country, especially because I work with very young people out of university and also our children in rural communities. But before I go ahead, I wanted to appreciate the opportunity our veteran leaders, Andrew Mwenda, and really great leaders that I've admired seeing Kampala and seeing his work, his writings. I would read Money Purchaser of the Independent, buy the Independent and go with it on the plane. So I hope he knows that he's an inspiration to a lot of young people in our country. And then Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko, who is I admire her work ethic, her leadership, and that's where I hope that today, I continue to, the talk of today is about career start, to deal with career burnout, not to go into the depth of discussion. One, you have to first learn how to deal, to know your purpose. Like you have to really discover your purpose early on to be able to know. You've heard of the saying that, you know, you never work a day in your life if you do something you love. And it doesn't mean that you never work a day. No, it means that you do actually work. Actually, you can even work the hardest than any other person. I think I've had nights when I am up all night about Teach for Uganda, the young people we want to hire. You know, let me just step back a bit and share about Teach for Uganda. We young graduates from Makerere, Mbara University, Gulu, name it, it's a diverse. Right now, we are in our 5th year with cohort 4, now in training at Africa Bible University, of 60 of them. These are 60 young people. So for you who are looking for jobs and opportunities, our fellowship is the one for you, really. And it really is highly selective. It's based on a global network.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kassaga, to bump into
we are
your
now
address.
60 Teach for organizations across the globe. In other words, you'll be learning from Teach for Nigeria, Teach for Ghana, Teach for Zambia, Teach. Yeah.
I think I've noticed a
Please
problem
take it
with your
on.
network. Yes, there's a problem with your network. If there's something you can do, we are having you break along the way. Yes, I hope there's something.
I've turned off the video.
Okay.
I've turned off the video. Can you? And
it's now better.
Yes, yes. As I shared earlier in the chat, we apologize for the network. We don't have power this side of Muyenga. Anyway, I was sharing that because of this we train them and then place them in UPE schools that are they are supposed to work as one teachers for the first 2 years, but also community leaders, mobilizing parents, school partnership, PTA, school management committee leaders to ensure that the children are coming to school and they are learning. And then number 3 is that we are trying to build student leaders by encouraging debates, by encouraging them to learn about climate change, by encouraging them to really understand that they too can come from a school in rural Mayuge or a school in rural, Luwero or Namutumba, and also one day become a Mwenda, one day become an honorable Sekitoleko. So that's our work. And so because of that, I think for you, learn of your
It's very unfortunate that we have lost our speaker, but I believe his network is being worked on, and in a little while, we are going to have him back here addressing our wonderful matters. Yes, in the meantime, as we're still waiting for those that have just joined us, you are very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform that Mr. Andrew Mwenda is in the building. You're very welcome, sir. We are humbled to have you, and it's a privilege. I would like to make a recap on the introduction about our panelists for today, as we have other panelists come in. Andrew Mwenda, he's a Ugandan print, a radio and television journalist. He's a founder and owner of the Independent magazine. He was previously the political editor of the Daily Monitor, a Ugandan daily newspaper, and was a presenter of Andrew Mwenda Live on KFM radio in Kampala. Ladies and gentlemen, together with me, allow me to welcome Andrew Mwenda to unmute and greet us and tell us more about himself. You're welcome, sir. Your microphone is mute.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. All I can say about myself, I'm the old man of the clan. I think I'm the oldest Ugandan living, having been born on 3rd October 1912 before the First World War, and now aged 109. That is all there is to my CV.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. You look so good to be that old, and you're very well.
Most people who see me think I'm only 80.
Oh, really? And yet you are
or 85, and I'm 109.
Wow, we are humbled to have the old man of the clan here on Bakash Media Foundation, and we cannot wait to hear what you have to say about that topic for today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Welcome back.
Pleased and honored to be with you.
Okay. Welcome back, Mr. Kassaga James. I hope your network is now better and fixed. We literally did not get enough of you the last time, but let's have a brief introduction of you again, and thank you so much, sir. Okay, in the meantime, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, ask our administrator.
I was actually...
Okay. Okay. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, ask our administrator for today to give us the poll. We usually have polls here, and our first poll is to help us know you all. It's already up on your screen. Yes, and you should answer the questions together with me. So by the time I'm done, you're also done. Our first question is, what is your level of education? If you stopped in high school, you can highlight the high school. If it is university or any other institution, you can highlight that, or others. That's if you have a master's or any other qualifications. What is your employment status? If you're a student, you can highlight the student. If you are a graduate, you can also highlight that. If you're self-employed, you can do that. And if you're employed full-time, you can also highlight that. And if you're unemployed, you can do that. Who knows? You can live here with a job. And our third question is, which career sector are you in? Are you in journalism and communication? Are you in performing arts, music, dance, and drama? Are you in international business and finance, agriculture, legal practice, medicine and health, mining and energy, tourism and hospitality, creative, art, architecture, design and innovation, or other sectors? That's if your sector is not highlighted there. How did you get to know of us, the Bakash Media Foundation? Is it through your WhatsApp, your Twitter, your email, your phone, a phone call, a friend or colleague, on your Instagram, Facebook, or other platform? Did you attend last week's episode? If yes, you can tap the yes. If no, you can tap no. And if you're not sure, you can also tap the not sure part. What is your expectation from our session? Networking, and empowerment or inspiration, mentorship, training, empowerment, or others? I hope we are done, and let's submit. Thank you. I hope I am done, and that means we are all done. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, allow me welcome one of the administrators or the lead of Bakash Media Foundation to address us more. Okay, I think we shall put that on hold for now. Yes, we shall dig in with our panelists already. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our panelists in the house, and I can promise you today is going to be different, filled with learning, new experience, and of course, we're going to enjoy this journey. Our topic today is dealing with career burnouts. As I told you at the start, burnouts means exhaustion, quitting, that point when you want to give up or just quit and be exhausted and leave it and abandon what you're doing. Yeah, we're about to deal with that. And our panelists, I would like to begin with Mr. Andrew Mwenda. How has your journey been? How has your journey been? How have you did from the grass where you came from in the war? I mean the world war that you are in until now, the journey that you have moved in your career. How has it been?
I should tell you, Anne, first, you see, I am not in journalism as a career. I am in journalism. I have been in journalism as a hobby.
Okay.
When I was, when I had just turned 6 years, that again tells you in 1918, the year Mandela was born, the president of Uganda called Idi Amin attacked Tanzania. So Nyerere responded by counterattacking Uganda and then invaded Uganda to remove Amin. At that time, Amin had stopped all Ugandans from listening to international radio stations like VOA, BBC, Radio South Africa, Deutsche Welle, radios like that. But my dad would listen to it, and he would do so in the evening with a couple of his colleagues of his age. So I would sit with them and listen to the news. After the news, they would do an analysis of the news. And the next morning, I would go to my school, primary one, and gather all the students in my class and tell them the news as I had it on the radio, and then give them an analysis, which was a regurgitation of what my dad and his friends would be saying. So I started a newspaper or a media house without a newspaper, without a radio station, without a television. It was journalism by word of mouth. So I started journalism at the age of 6. At the age of 6, I was already a practicing journalist. And I was doing 2 things in journalism: news reporting and news analysis. I was doing both. So I think that because somebody
please deal with that.
I'm sure that I'm not sick of those people.
I request the administrator to please deal with that person. Please mute that participant. And grant me authority to mute him. Mr. Administrator. Thank you so much, Mr. Administrator. You can go ahead, Mr. Andrew Mwenda. We are very sorry.
First of all, we need to know who is this Tinyafuza person. We need to get him, and he comes to me with my stick, I beat him.
Surely.
So I was telling, so I started journalism by word of mouth, and so that is the foundation of my job. My job is both my hobby, it's my passion, and it's my job. If you're doing a job that is like that, it is not unusual to suffer burnout, but it will not come as quickly as people who do jobs they do not like. So the question asked me, how did you build your career in journalism? I was saying I started it in primary school when I went to Nyakasura School. At the age of 12, I started a newspaper called the City Press. When I went to Mbara High, I started a newspaper there, which the teachers blocked. And when I was in Mwiri, I started a newspaper called the New Mwirian, which I think still is there. I need to visit the school and find out. The traffic jam on Ginger Road has stopped me from going to Ginger in a long time, but I would like to know whether this newspaper is still there. Then I worked for Monitor, and now when I left Monitor, I established my own newspaper. So I have been in journalism from the age of 6 to now the age of 109. That's a great experience. 103 years of journalism. Now, of course, when I became a professional journalist, which was when I left university in 1996 at the age of 84, I worked for 3 years. Then after 3 years, I took a break to go and do my master's degree. When I came back from my master's, I worked for 3 years. Then I went to do a fellowship at the University of Leiden. Then after working for another 3 years till 2006, I went to Stanford University to do a fellowship. Then in 2010, I went to Yale University to do a fellowship. Then in 2013, I went to Oxford University to do a fellowship. So every 3 years, I always go to a great university where I spend a lot of time, maybe 6 months or 1 year, indulging in a promiscuous intellectual intercourse with other thinkers. So I love to read books. I want to interact with people who are highly educated, widely read, widely traveled, and exceptionally intelligent. And therefore, every 3 years, I do this, I am revitalized. Of course, since 2013, I have not done a long absence from Uganda of, let's say, 6 months or 1 year as I used to, but I take off detours for, let's say, 40 days or 1 month. Like the last time I took this kind of detour was in Japan. I went to Japan for 42 days and I spent there time, engaging people in think tanks in universities, discussing the relationship between Japan and her Asian neighbors, Japan and her Western allies, and of course, Japan and Africa. So to avoid burnout, I believe that you should always take off time every 3-4 years and do a sabbatical. You can also go to an island with the book you want to read, the girl you want to talk to, the pet you want to carry, and spend time doing something different from what you usually do. And that allows you to recharge your batteries. Because if you do the one thing over and over again, it is likely to lead you to burnout and boredom. So it's important to always take a sabbatical, which is a long break from what you usually do in order to relax and recharge your batteries. Renew yourself, reinvent yourself, rediscover yourself. I can use as many adjectives as possible.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Mwenda. I hope you are done. Yes, thank you so much. And that is a wonderful journey. Wow, filled with a lot of experience. And I'm still at shock how a P1-year-old would start to give out all that information to fellows that I hope did not understand what you actually meant. That was really too much intelligence at that age. And
it wasn't intelligence. It was just listening and reproducing what I had listened to. Even the analysis I would give would be a regurgitation of my dad's and his contemporaries' opinions. That's what it is. It's just perhaps keenness.
It still comes back to passion, and yeah, you really had the passion in you, and I could say it was inbuilt. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Mwenda. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, give chance to Mr. Kassaga to also give us a brief information of how his journey has been, a brief recap of how it has been from where he started from to where he is right now. Thank you, sir. I hand over to you.
Thank you, Anne, and I hope the internet will allow me now to my older brother, Mr. Andrew Mwenda, that you are an inspiration and I need to find the time. I was telling them earlier that I used to buy some kamane and I would always had the independent. And I really think that personally, I started out in rural South Uganda, a cowherding boy of the Bahima. My uncle, my mother was a teacher at my school. Her school was, and then of course at the time of 5 years old, she was educating me from home, and she couldn't send me to school. It was about 10 to, in a day you do 10 kilometers, then 10, so it would be 20. So I couldn't go to school. So she chose that she would teach me from home. My father was cowherding, of course. So soon after all those things changed, we had measles in the community. In my family, I lost, this is around age. I lost my 2 sisters, and then my mother followed. Yes. Can you hear me?
I would advise, if it's possible, you use only the audio, like you can mute your video. I think that will help with the network. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, the power has been an issue this side. But yeah, so that all changed immediately, if you can hear me. And then I was moved to Kashari, where my uncle was, to get an education there because the schools were closer there. And I think that changed my life, because that school there, Katebe Primary School, is where the foundation began. I had a great teacher who believed in my inquisitive nature. I was always asking so many questions. And then he realized that I could stay in school with my grandmother's support. Eventually, my dad passed with HIV when I was AIDS when I was 10, and I was the best in that county of schools. We had about 4 schools, and then I was lucky to receive a scholarship for my high school life. I got sponsors for my university education. And my passion at first was to go to medical school because I wanted to be a doctor to revenge on these diseases. But then I realized in the end, I think it was the summer of 2008, when I tried out a summer program in medical school, and we dissected a cadaver. Some of you who know this, it's basically dissecting a dead body, and the formaldehyde and all that stuff didn't work out for me. And I stayed with that image in my entire head for the whole night, and I couldn't stay again. So I said, I need to find another way of another career. But my passion was always with young people. I knew that Uganda had young people. My passion was always to help those other young people who also were affected by HIV and AIDS. And so I joined health, and then eventually I returned to Uganda. And after, I actually took a year off to go to India to learn about social enterprises. The idea was that I wanted to start something that would get young people involved into, 1, discovering their purposes, 2, serving their country, patriotism. And it was in India where I met the young people who are doing Teach for India, and that changed my life. And I connected with a friend here, my colleague, and we started Teach for Uganda. That's the long story short. Teach for Uganda now is in its 5th year, and we've hired over now almost 120 young people, training them, skilling them. Bakash Media knows we've partnered with them in hiring these young people, and we take them into 2-year fellowship, and we put them in rural communities, rural UPE schools, to teach, as well as to inspire children to stay in school and achieve their educational dreams. So wow. I'll stop there for now, and then
wow, that really is a wonderful journey, Mr. Kassaga. And I love how you put your personal life as a ground to lay help to the world. And that journey of yours gives me a clear explanation for the Teach for Uganda that you came up with. Wow, it's so passionate, and really, can I say God bless you? Wow, and ladies and gentlemen, I think now we know our panelists better. Later on, as we go forth, we're going to have one of the Bakash Media give us more information about the fundraising that Bakash Media Foundation is holding. And yes, I can tell you already, do not fear to send in, as they'll be telling us. Our next question, I want to know, we've been talking about the burnout, career burnout, career burnout, career burnout. What is that? What are the initial signs of the burnout? When do I know, okay, I'm now starting to burn out? I'm starting to burn out in this career thing. I'm starting to get exhausted. I would like to have Mr. Andrew Mwenda go first on that.
I think that the career burnout, if I have really not suffered it in a significant way because of what I told you, but when you begin getting bored of what you're doing, it can, when you do the same thing over and over again, however much exciting it may be, it can also become too routine and boring. So when boredom begins to set in inertia, you feel you don't want to leave your bed to go and work because you're doing the same thing without much change. So fatigue from doing the same thing over time is the first sign of career burnout. That is all. You are muted. Okay.
Yeah, I have just realized. Thank you so much. Really, I think, should I say I've been a victim of that? You wake up in the morning and you feel like, I wish I would stay longer, a little longer. I think that is when I was starting to burn out, and it's because I was not doing what I wanted to do. Yes, and this is all adding up to me. I'd like to hear what Mr. Kassaga has to say about it. Kassaga. Do we still have him on board? Okay, yeah.
Hi, Anne. Is Mr. Mwenda still going? Sorry, my network today, I'm going back and forth between networks. So sorry.
We understand totally.
I'm here now, so proceed.
Yes, as I was saying, we want to know what are the initial signs of the burnout to you? Like, how could you help me know when I'm starting to burn out in my career journey?
Yeah, so again, thank you, Anne. Earlier I shared that definitely, like Mwenda was sharing, that if you work for the purpose, and again, I want to really advise our young people as you start out to search for careers, search something that, one, before you even go to university, make sure that what you're doing, you really, really love, right? Like Mwenda shared, from the young age, he really took it on as a hobby for his journalism. So some of you go to university and you're given a career choice like, let's say food science and technology, but then your passion is in journalism. Because it's Makerere University, you will go to Makerere University because you want food science and technology. But yet you don't care about it. You wouldn't want to wake up in the middle of the night to study for it. Then at the end of the day, you feel so bored, so tired, then you get that burnout, even working for it. So you would rather go to like another university. It could even be whatever university, but as long as you do something you deeply are passionate about. And I think that in the end, in the long term, you will not meet many career burnouts, because every time you hit that snag, like Mr. Mwenda said, then you'll be thinking, okay, what is the next level I can innovate? What is the next level I can pivot to really keep excited? And it will be something that excites you to wake up in the middle of the night. Like I said, when I went to medical school, it was at University of Miami, and we dissected a dead body, and that formaldehyde and that image stayed in my mind. And I said, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to help people in another way. So I went for young people. So now, the moment in this work, I realize when I'm tired, we have a model that we call being above the line or below the line. When you're above the line, let's say the line of feeling excited, feeling happy, inspired, is being above the line. You're curious, you're energized, you want to do everything, you want to inspire others. Below the line, you are very, very sad. You feel like you don't want to go back to work the next day. You're tired, you're fatigued. So ideally, the moment you notice that you're below the line, right? That's when you realize that now this may be something I'm doing needs to change. Then at that point, you need to maybe talk to your mentor. You have wonderful people like Mr. Mwenda and others. Talk to your mentor and share this, and then learn from there. What should I be doing in my career now? Back to you, Anne.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kassaga. That is a wonderful piece of advice. And we got a piece of advice also from Mr. Andrew Mwenda earlier. He said, if you are starting to burn out, it's getting boring, try something new. Like for him personally, he said he usually has engagements. He travels for different fellowships, and that steers him up again to kick off for the next session. I think we can fight this burnout in career journeys. And also, I would like to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that our page is live. We are live streaming this particular session on our Facebook. So if you're in the audience and the internet on Zoom is...
Can I add something?
Yes, please, yes.
You know, I have an amazing book in my library here, written by a Nobel Prize winner in economics. It's called Identity Economics by George Ackloff and Sandra Cranton. The problem is I cannot see it, but he makes, just 1 second. You know, I've grown old and my memory is like that of a cockroach in the last 8 seconds. But it's a great book. So Sarah Cranton and George Ackloff say something fundamental. They say, you know, what makes a good professional, whether it's a plumber, a journalist, or lawyer, they say it is not incentive pay, and interestingly, it is not necessarily level of skill. They say it is identity. When a person makes that leap into identity and they identify themselves as a good journalist, as a good boxer, as a good lawyer, a good plumber, they will always want to see themselves, their identity, themselves in the products of their work. So if he says, I'm a very good journalist, he wants to see good journalism in the product of his work. If he's a plumber, he wants to do good plumbing. If he's a carpenter, he wants to see good carpentry. And that is what makes a successful professional. And I think one of the ways that a professional can avoid burnout is to that ability to make a leap in identity and develop an image of yourself, an identity of yourself around what you do. Because if what you do brings you a lot of pleasure, even when you are tired, I mean, if it is a hobby to you, even when you are tired, you still have the energy to go on. And I think that one of the ways to fight career burnout is to pick something that you are really passionate about. And if you feel you're losing the passion for that, what you're doing, you need to find another exciting thing. Now, like you, Anne, I would like to ask you, if I wanted to make you the happiest girl in Kampala, what can I do for you? What activity can I get you involved in the next 2 months? And in those 2 months, it's a whirlwind and you'll be so excited. Would you tell me?
The first I can think of right now, because I'm ambushed, is
take you to a trip to Mars.
A job on CNN would make me
a job with CNN.
In Kampala, yeah.
So you love journalism. So that is it.
Yeah.
So I think therefore that maybe if you're working, the problem, of course, with the way you have defined it, is if CNN right now is a very exciting possibility, but once you are there, then you are there. It may cease to be exciting. I always tell my friends that money is only exciting when you don't have it, because when you have it, then what? Then you have it. So maybe you should love journalism regardless of where you do it, because if it's just to do it at CNN, I'm telling you, Anne, you'll go to CNN after 3, 4, 5 years. You'll get used to CNN. It will no longer be the myth. This glamour, it will be part of you, and therefore you'll get bored and then begin suffering from career burnout. I have had friends who have worked with CNN, by the way, and they burnt out and left. Although it was the most exciting thing they thought they would ever achieve. Because also another challenge is how to know what you want. And then the second challenge is how to want what you have. Because when there is nothing more to seek, then there is nothing more to find. Even in a relationship, by the way, we could ask, how does a relationship suffer burnout, because if you get too used to your partner and everything is on the table, then there is a death of novelty, of difference, of intrigue, to be intrigued by things, to be surprised. If everything becomes conventional and banal, then the relationship suffers burnout. And that is why I have a powerful lady. You know me, there's a book here by the lady, she's called there are two books here by this lady here, which I want you guys to read. Mating in Captivity, which is Unlocking Erotic Intelligence, and The State of Affairs, Rethinking Infidelity. And both of these books, you can write them. They deal with the burnout in relationships. This one, The State of Affairs, is Rethinking Infidelity, why people in marriages go out to cheat, because the sex in the relationship has become so banal, so conventional, so it lacks any imagination and novelty. So they want to find it outside of the marriage. And this is a book about how to unlock erotic intelligence, how to continue having exciting sex in the marriage.
Yeah.
Not suffering from erotic burnout. But the book by Sarah Cranton, I don't know why I can't see it. I'm really disappointed, because it is identity economics is right here. So this identity economics, so it deals with how a career can, by Sarah Cranton and George Akerlof. George Akerlof is a Nobel Prize winner in economics. So for him, it is like you and identifying yourself as a great journalist, and journalism is your drive. So whether you do it at NBS, at BBC, or at any place, it is the job that should excite you, not the organization, because the organization you can get used to. It is CNN or BBC are only exciting in the first 3 years you are there. After 5-7 years, what else? You will become CNN. It will be a daily routine where you go, unless you become what do they call these journalists? You keep hopping from one news organization to another, so that you find excitement. That's another way to avoid career burnout, by the way. You keep changing organizations where you work, so that you at any one time working in a new environment with new people.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a wonderful highlight there. I hope the audience is learning as much as I am right now. And yes, I believe we've all had the times when we are burning out in our different careers in work fields, even those that are actually working under employment. If you're working under employment, there's a time when you feel like, I don't want to go to work and all that. But this gives us a new opening and all that. I would like to ask our audience if it's okay with you to share in the inbox the times that you've actually had a burnout. And yes, our panelists as well are going to share with us what the time was when they had a burnout in their careers. I already had Mr. Andrew Mwenda say he doesn't actually remember have a time when he actually is burning out. But let's have it from him again, and also we shall have from Mr. Kassaga as we go on again. Thank you, sir. We can have Mr. Kassaga go on first, as Mr. Andrew Mwenda is, okay, he's back. Okay.
Sorry, I was returning books to the, I suffer from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes, the question was, I think Mr. Kassaga is going first.
Yeah, I wanted to first say to my older brother, Mr. Mwenda, is he okay lending some of those books, but I will find them. But thank you so much. I think there are majorly two things for me that I'm learning from him, and I hope all of us are. One is books they have a world of their own. In fact, I've taken on books that have changed my life now, and really always actually teach you not only the current issues that you're dealing with, but also how to think about your own future, right? To rediscover yourself. So for me, books, Mr. Mwenda, it's a blessing, and I'm taking from you. I am yet to join that library. Then two, about this idea of taking on new opportunities, fellowships. I encourage all of you to take on fellowships, learning opportunities. I think there's someone who said, Mr. Mwenda will quote me right, I don't remember the author, who said that the moment we lose that zeal of learning, we become as equivalent as dead. The moment we lose that zeal of learning, I'm paraphrasing it, the zeal of learning. I think it was Dr. Matunda King Jr. who said, like, I think we begin to wither away when we lose that child in us. And the child in us is because they are always quest for learning. I have a 17-month-old son, and he runs around. He wants to test the chargers. He wants to touch the TV remotes. He wants to hold the book. He wants to go to the kitchen. He's always seeking to learn. And I think that learning, the quest for learning, even in your job, like you, if you're employed, even in that job, whether it's, you know, you're leading marketing, you're leading finance, the quest for learning is what really keeps you excited, because you learn new ideas that you can share with your teammates, you can share with your friends, you can share with your spouse at home. Mr. Mwenda just shared a book, which I really have to look for, That Mating in Captivity. It really is something that I think I can read with my dear wife. So thank you so much. I think for me that would be it. I will
send you my fee note, James.
Yes, sir.
I'll send you my fee note.
I'll take it on. Thank you. Yeah, the last one I was going to mention, I think Mr. Mwenda has alluded to the fellowships. So recently I took it's called the African Leadership Group. Some of you may know it, and they have actually a great program for young entrepreneurs like you, Mr. Bakash, and the team. It's called the Africa Growth Lab. And there we learned so much. I mean, heard from these amazing leaders who have really raised lots of money, but also have impacted young people across Africa. I am happy to recommend you guys to join, some of you, but that's how you keep, you know, from career burnout. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you, sir. I actually had proposed a question to you that actually was saying, have you ever had a time when you're burning out in your career? That particular time when you felt like you are quitting and exhausted and weary and you want to just give yourself space?
Mr. Mwenda first or me?
You can go first. We shall have Mr. Mwenda later.
Okay.
Sorry, you can ask me.
Yeah. Let me go and then thank you, Anne. It was at the time in 2018, because my work depends on donor funding for the most part. And it was in 2018 when we were launching our first cohort of young people in rural Uganda. It was in Luero, that the institute where we trained them for a while. And it was expensive for me, another for the team, and we were short of that funding. And I felt like, am I in the wrong career? What is this? But then again, there's those also when perseverance and that resilience really wins. And eventually, I think it was one of those places at a conference, and I saw the ambassador of the US speaking, and I ran to her after she spoke. I think she introduced to Madame Graka Mashao, and I went up to her. She was leaving. Literally, the security man was in front, and I said, Madam Ambassador, we run a program called Teach for Uganda. It's like Teach for America. It helps grow young people in leadership, but also to teach in these rural communities to inspire the young generation of student leaders. And she said, I have heard about it. Come to my office. Here is my card, and we'll talk about it. I emailed her immediately, and just to share in confidence, that next week, they had money that was supposed to be sent back to the US. She said, give it to Teach for Uganda, and we were able to launch our program that year. So I think also the other thing I would say, always be looking out for opportunities and also be grateful for what you have. I think that's something that I would also share. But at that time, I really felt like we were hitting a snag.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's have Mr. Andrew Mwenda now.
Yes, what was the question, my granddaughter?
The question is, could you have had that time when you wanted to quit or having the burnout in your career? And
No.
could you mind to share it with us?
No. I have, you know, I used to work at Mont and I quit for reasons which are available online, but I've never wanted to quit journalism. It has never occurred to me that I should quit journalism. So, and I'm involved in different aspects of journalism as business and as a craft. So that has never happened. I've even never thought about it.
Wow,
right
okay.
Now, because of advanced age, I'm trying to reduce how much participation I do in journalism. I have trained enough journalists. So I'm saying, let me not be like M7 and hang around for too long till I die. So I am in the process of retirement, not of quitting. So maybe write a column once in a while, and but continue with the leg in journalism because I enjoy it. Wow. When I go to newsrooms, I find, sorry to ask a lady, how old are you, Anne?
I'm 22.
Can you imagine? I'm 109. So I meet my great-grandchildren in the newsrooms and I say, really, what are you doing here, old man? So that is the whole thing.
So you've not had a
desire to quit, but I have had a desire to reduce how much engagement I do, because, you know, as you grow older, there are new things that come into your life. Right now I have many things that I'm doing every day. My basket of exciting things to do has been growing, and as it grows, the space and time I allocate to journalism has also been therefore reducing. But I've never had a desire to quit. To say I'm tired, let me quit. No.
Not even in the different work fields besides looking at journalism as a whole, the different platforms that you worked in your journalism ground.
Not I worked in, for example, I have reduced a lot of my engagement on Twitter by about 95% because when I go there, I find a lot of nonsense. I have reduced a lot of my participation on Facebook because I think it's not a platform for serious people. Every nuthead, every scandal, every has the right to go there and say they say nonsensical things. So I look for those platforms where I can engage people, not who agree with me, but people with whom I can discuss at a similar intellectual level. So Facebook and Twitter are really not platforms. They have been so infiltrated by every scandal on the street, every tomato vendor, every fishmonger, that they adulterate, mutilate intellectual discourse.
Wow, it's very interesting and new to me that there's someone who has actually not had a burnout, and that is a high level of passion that you have for journalism right there. Yes, the administration team has given a screen sharing. I hope it's still up. Let me check. Yeah, it was up some time back, showing us the different recommendation of the books that Mr. Andrew Mwenda has recommended for you people to read and get inspired. I have written them down. I hope you all have done the same. That's if you love to read. But even if you don't love to read, at least spare some time and read. I mean, reading is life. Yes, I think we can now go to our next question. I was also informed we are going to have Madam Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko join us along the way. She has been caught up somewhere, but we're going to have her login in a little while. Our next question.
And I want to request, can I be allowed to leave in about 20 minutes? I have an engagement at 1 and I need to shower, dress, and then drive to town. I am far away in my village in Luzira.
Okay, allow us to exploit you in the 20 minutes that you've given us.
Okay.
Allow us to utilize you. Yes. Our next question, what do you think are the consequences of someone to work under the burnout? If you keep pushing, it's coming, but you keep on pushing and keep on working and keep on pushing.
That's a bad thing to do. Because when you have burnt out, you cannot produce the best of what you are able to offer. So you work under, you cannot work at optimum capacity, you work at under capacity. And therefore you cannot produce the best of what you want. That's why I was showing you the book on identity economics, that if you must say, I'm a good carpenter, I'm a good plumber, I'm a good doctor, I'm a good journalist, and you want to see yourself in what you produce. But if you have burnt out, you cannot produce the best of what you are. And therefore you really are underutilizing yourself. You're not giving, especially for us in journalism. Let me give an example of journalism. They say doctors bury their mistakes, journalists publish theirs. So you'll be publishing all your mistakes. When you're suffering from burnout, you'll make so many mistakes. And those mistakes will be given to the public. And then your reputation will significantly decline. I would advise everybody who feels getting bored or whatever to take a break.
Okay.
And, go do something exciting and different in order to rest. Because doing the same thing over and over again, I don't know how Museveni manages to be president all these years, even without taking leave. And the man doesn't seem to get bored. I think he loves
Maybe
the job.
it takes a
I
break.
don't think he's doing a good job of it, but I think he loves the paraphernalia of the job rather than the job itself because it's tiring and stressful.
Okay. Someone is suggesting we also have a mental health topic next time. I think we shall and have Mr. Andrew Mwenda back again to address it.
Which topic?
The mental health topic. I have seen a suggestion from our inbox.
I would want to have a topic to discuss the books I showed you, Set of Affairs and Mental in Captivity. I think those things are quite personal and they are the ones that matter most in people's lives. And do you see how James got excited and said he will now also ask your wife to read them so that the next time you cheat on her, she does not get surprised.
Okay.
Okay, she does not get too angry with you. At least she will know where you're coming from. And
or maybe
by the way, when she cheats on you,
together,
she
Mr.
knows where she's coming from.
We are going to read it together.
Let me just quote one thing. This woman said something very important. You know, normally, when I pretend to be a marriage counselor, given my long experience in that field, you know, a guy will complain, is there something wrong with me? Why is he going out of the marriage? Or is there something wrong with him? And this woman says, it's not always the case that there is something wrong with the person cheating or something wrong in the relationship. This person may be looking for a new adventure. And that new adventure does not need to, at home, to be a problem for them to seek another excitement. It's like, you get what I mean? But she is so amazing what she says. In fact, it is revolutionary. It turns your mind upside down on these matters. And since you are young and 21, before you get married, and you should come and I give you what we call in French, a tour d'horizon on how to handle these matters.
I'm actually feeling it gives a justification to adultery. I have had questions from the inbox session, people raising hands, and since you want to go in a few, allow me give them a chance to ask you questions, Mr. Andrew Mwenda. Mr. Kakuru Katensa Jones, you can unmute and ask your question as fast as you can.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne. My name is James Katansa Kakuru.
Can I see James Katansa? I don't see your
James, turn on your video, please. Yeah, he's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Why are you hiding yourself?
My question, I'm sorry because my network is not clear when I have the camera. I don't know, that's what I saw. Thank you so much. I'm called James and also work with Anne at my story show. I'm a poet and in my free time I read some rhymes. And my question goes to you, Andrew, the old man. You have been following me for quite some time. I think before you came here before I was born in 1998, where you are no longer in journalism. But for the stories I've read and heard, for the stories I've read and heard.
James, can you speak to a microphone?
I have to animate the video maybe because I think it's
okay, no. Continue now. Okay, remove the video. Remove the video.
Yeah. So my question was, I've been following you for some good time, and every time I see, for example, your post or when you're on TV or when you're everywhere, opposition.
Your voice has disappeared.
The opposition. Wait. Now my question is always at that moment, how do you deal with that? Your
voice had disappeared, James. Your voice had, can you repeat it? The question.
Okay. I was saying, I don't know whether now.
On TV,
yeah, every time I see you or am I clear?
Yes.
Yes. My question has to do with how much you've been insulted and the opposition you've got from opposition. Every time, for example, I watch you or I see your tweet, or for example, like you hosted somewhere, there's a lot of opposition that comes in the inbox. And this is not by these people you've called or you've regarded as fishmongers on Twitter, but even professionals. Now, my question is, does it affect you at some moment? Do you feel offended when someone insults you? Or doesn't it bring about?
I used to,
like
I got
banning out on your careers.
James, I used to,
yes.
But over time I developed immunity. Right now, I pity them. You know, I'm like Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, the people who killed him, he said, forgive them, my Father, for they do not know what they are doing. So when I read those guys, that is if I read them anyway. You see, another thing is I don't even read them. But when I do, I behave like Jesus. I say, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.
And then what advice would you give to us who are still juniors? Because we are going to face those things. Don't you think they would also cause burnouts at some moment in our careers? How best can we deal with that?
My advice to you is, first of all,
Because we have different
critics. Never allow your critics to define your agenda. You see, James, the most important thing, I think, for me, and I think it would apply to everybody, is that I say what I really, 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 really believe. And I say it without fear or favor, without any qualm or restraint. You see, so because I believe in what I'm saying, most of the people who come to criticize me, they don't even come to criticize my ideas. They come to attack me as an individual. Now, I am not one of those who is attracted to ad hominem debates. So if I say, I state a particular fact, you come and say, your nose is ugly, or you have been bribed. I find that irrelevant to what I am saying. I immediately consider you to be of low intellectual caliber, in which case, really, you are not worth my time. I can maybe read 3 words from a person and I don't continue. Because I told you, even when I'm engaging people, if you come to Uganda, you will find I have a large community of younger friends. I think they're the best friends Uganda has produced. Even all the people that I associate with, they must be very intelligent. Now, and I judge an intelligent person by the ability to listen to my argument and to critique it on its logical veracity or factual accuracy. And if you cannot criticize it on those 2 things, and you begin attacking me as a person, I immediately consider you to be a person of mediocre intelligence, in which case I can only pity you. I can't condemn you. You are just a victim of your low level of intelligence. So I have sympathy for you. I react to people like that by a large feeling of sympathy and pity. I don't condemn them. I never even get angry with them. I just feel Jesus Christ or Muhammad or the spirits of our ancestors will touch their hand and give them a better ability to think.
Okay, thank you so much. I think, Andrew, Akuri, you are actually satisfied with the reply, and yes, it works for all of us as well. Tuongere, I see your hand up. Please unmute and ask your question. And if your network is a problem, please type your question. I will read it out and you will get the answer.
Thank you very much, Bakash Foundation and all the panelists. My name is Tuongere Irene. I'm a young director for Women for Green Economy Movement, Uganda. It is my career after the university, but professionally, I'm an accountant. We are talking about career burnouts. Yes, as you know, advocacy needs a lot of writing, a lot of work, research, what, and you reach at the point your mind is blank. I mean, your mind is tired, and yes, and Andrew Mwenda talked about maybe you need to go out of that career and try another one. How is that possible? And maybe how can I be helped about that? Thank you.
Actually, Irene, you got me wrong. I never said you change your career. I believe you should join a career which you are passionate about, but when you're feeling getting tired, you need to go and do some other activity other than that job. You can go to a university like me.
My question is, which are like other activities can be in that lane that can be helping of your career? Yes, of course, joining this is my passion and my career at the same time.
So what I was saying is that that really depends on what you remember. I asked Anne, what would make you happy, you know, if I was to give you an offer that is a blank check, and that is what that is something you have to find inside yourself. I really can't decide. If you are a doctor and you're always in hospitals and you're getting burnout, don't go to another hospital. Maybe you may need to go out and go to a university, spend time studying. You may need to take a road trip and drive from Cape Town to Cairo, depending on your income. You need to do something that excites you. I cannot define what it is, or something that makes you relax, forget your work, recharge your batteries, renew yourself, rest, detox, so that when you go back to work, When you go back, and you can do it for 2 months, you can do it for 3 months. Me, sometimes I've taken, because I love intellectual work, I like to go to a university, spend time there, reading books and engaging so many professors and other students and intellectuals in promiscuous intellectual intercourse. So when I come back, I feel I am renewed, I'm reinvented, I'm reborn. I'm like a born-again Christian by that time, or a born-again journalist, a born-again something.
Oh, thank you very much. I've gotten your point. Thank you.
You're welcome, my granddaughter.
I'm glad that you have been answered, Mrs. Irene. I hope that's the right name. And also, just to add on, like Mr. Andrew Mwenda said, you do something that helps you even modify yourself or edify yourself better. Like for him, he goes for fellowships that actually help him. So don't do something that will actually make you so dormant. Do something that actually stirs up your passion for the thing that you do, that career that you have and you're following. I'd like to ask you.
Yes, that is very true. But you know, people who are just in this career, most of the time don't know where the workshops are. Don't know what, you know, the thing that can really put you into a career and you discover more things. That maybe could be a challenge somewhere, like having workshops, seminars, what in the same lane with what you're passionate at.
You can make research about that. You can follow people that do what you do, get mentors. I think that will help, my dear. Okay, yes, we have very many hands and I don't want to lock up anybody. We have a hand from Samuel Okwa. Samuel, please unmute and give your question.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you so much, Andrew and Bakash Media. I'm just humbled to be on this space. I'm going to ask this question more for
Samuel,
a friend.
are you a brother of Tom Voltaire or Kwalinga?
I've always had that question asked about me, but no.
I am joking.
It almost made me change my name, but I'm not his brother.
You are hereby forgiven because of that. You are saved.
All right, but on to the question. I'm going to ask this more for a friend. Personally, I was once in a career that I didn't really have passion for. That was telecommunications engineering. So I switched to software engineering just because of that. I wanted to do something that I love. And now with this, like I could literally work for free as much as I'm paid for it, but this is something I just love doing. But then I also have this other friend. She also made the same decision. She switched from customer care, which was paying her bills, into software engineering because she also had a passion for this. At least that's what she thinks. But then over time, she's really had a number of challenges adapting to all the stuff that has to be done. And up to now, she's not yet even gotten work that can help her pay her bills, and she's still staying with her parents because of this. So I've tried helping her, but at some point I start feeling, would it be better to stick to something that can earn your bills, as maybe if you can't really get up and running on this part that you're passionate about? What would you tell such a person?
That's a difficult one. Although I would say it's better to be engaged with something as you look for your actual passion. I don't think that the alternative of sitting at home and being idle is better than doing something that you may not entirely like. I would advise her, maybe she should do that job which she's not so passionate about. And once she's in a job, then she can, you know, it is easier to get a job when you already have one. It's much more difficult to get a job when you're unemployed. Most employers will want to get somebody from another place. So I would advise her to take a job that she may not really like, but that as a holding job as she looks for the job that she really wants.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, also, and allow me to jump in here. I think what Andrew Mwenda is saying is very, very fantastic. Sometimes as young people, you feel like, oh, I'm not interested in this. Let me just go back or leave the job or quit. No, because for every job career that you're in, it is teaching you something. One, it is teaching you resilience of spirit. It is teaching you perseverance. It is teaching you to understand different kinds of people and how they work. So ideally, you would rather hold on to that job, even if it's not necessarily serving your biggest interests while you do the search, while you meet in these platforms to discover yourself. Otherwise, if you do quit and you're at home seated for 2 years, someone will ask you in the interview, in the job interview, why were you sitting at home 2 years without doing anything? So I agree.
That's a very good point.
Thank you.
I think Victoria has joined. Anne, you can let her unmute.
Yes. So can I be able to leave now?
A minute, old man. Just a minute. Could you kindly give us more 3 minutes? I think the network of Anne has gotten a problem currently.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Victoria.
Finally, this government has finished its meeting, so I'm here now. What did you say? Which was important?
Why don't you turn on the video so that I can wave at you?
I haven't changed, but there's. I'm in midst of. There's not enough light here.
There's too much light behind you. That's why you have less light in front.
Because the windows are behind me.
Yes, that's the problem. But I'm very happy to see you, Victoria, after so long a time. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to see you.
That's what I want to hear. Nice to see you too.
Okay.
Very welcome. We have been joined by Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko. We are very humbled to have you here, and you are very welcome. We cannot wait to hear what you have to say about our topic today. Thank you so much for logging in today.
It's my pleasure to be here. As I told you, I'm at Ministry of Finance, so right now I'm standing up so that a few things can work. So you bear with me if things don't go very well.
Now your image is as clear as snow.
Okay.
Honorable, so let me say that it's my joy and honor to meet you, Kassaga James Arinaitwe. I look forward to one day meeting you in person. And thank you for coming on to give us your wisdom as we are following in your footsteps.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you so much, our panelists. You are very welcome once again, and we have been learning and still are going to learn more and more. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give chance to our lead at Bakash Media Foundation, Mr. Isaac Bakashaba, to unmute, tell us something about the fundraising and more about the Bakash Media Foundation. Thank you so much. I hand over to you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Anne. To our panelists, thank you so much for turning up. I hope the old man wants to run, but let me take this kind of opportunity to welcome you all once again. This is our third session of our Career Essential Series Season 2. My name is Isaac Kassaga. I'm the founder and the team lead at Bakash Media Foundation, a non-profit startup that was founded in 2009 with our aim of spreading the information in the short form and the powerful talks. And our ultimate goal is to become a global community welcoming the young people in every discipline, culture, and to seek the understanding of the world. We believe passionately in the power of ideas, storytelling, and changing lives, and probably the world. So over time, we've been running these sessions. This is we've had 15 sessions, and I think we've impacted 5,000 people outside there. We've had 5 projects. We have career talks, career essential series, then career clinics, and other projects that are underway. We have 3 partnerships, one which is underway with Teach for Uganda with my brother, big brother, James Kassaga. We have one with Upskill, the Innovation Village, and one with Opportunity Tracker. So we thank you so much, and our partners today that are on board for this career essential series, that's Birungi Charities and Opportunity Tracker. We thank you so much. We've had over 30 mentors throughout these sessions, and we've fundraised over less than 3 million. So we are running a campaign a fundraising campaign currently. I don't know if our administrator can share the screen. Since we started these sessions, we managed to fundraise, and yeah, please join us, our dear panelists and our audience. Join us on this cause as we impact the youth and all our audience that we really serve interest. So we are creating a platform, as I said, of a platform of knowledge from the most inspired thinkers and the community, curious souls to engage with ideas of each other. So you can donate us through the accounts that are already displayed on the screens. Anything that, yeah, we shall surely welcome it. That will help us to run these projects. And we're having a master class that is being launched in January 22nd. I don't know if our administrator can also share that with us on the screens. You can be part of it. You register, the link will be in the chat section. Register to be part of this skilling that is going to happen in January. We have several skilling programs that we are going to be running. I don't know if our administrator can also display that. Okay. So I think here we are. Join us on the cause. To our panelists, to all our audience. The old man, I'm so glad to host you after a long time of struggle, trying to host you over time, but finally you show up. Thank you so much. Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko, we've not met personally, but thank you so much for being flexible when we approached you, and you really turned up positively. My big brother, James Kassaga, thank you so much for being part of us. Mr. James has been part of us for some good time. He has guided us, is our advisor, not formally, but soon we still persuade him to join us officially. And we thank you so much for joining us today. On behalf of my team, I think our moderator can take it on from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our lead, Mr. Bakash Isaac. Yes, like you said, you can give in your fundraising fund. It doesn't matter how much. The little or much that you give makes a difference. They're going to give a link of where to send, how to send in the fund that you want to send in to Bakash Media. And also they're going to give a link in the inbox about how to join the skilling that is going to happen next year. Yes, if you want to improve your public speaking, all the skills that you want to improve, you're going to find a link in the inbox. The administrator is going to work on that. Once again, I would like to thank the old man of the clan, Mr. Andrew Mwenda, for joining us today, and Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko, plus Mr. Kassaga for also joining us today. I don't know if Mr. Andrew Mwenda is still here. He had requested to leave a little bit early. Let me be sure. Yes, like he had requested, I think he has left, but it has been a wonderful experience with him. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give chance to Madam Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko to unmute and tell us her journey to the parliament, to the different fields that she has worked in, to where she started from and to where she is right now, and where she is to inspire most of us coming behind her. Thank you so much, Madam. I hand over to you.
Thank you, Anne. How much time do I have?
You have 5 minutes, ma'am.
No problem.
Okay.
Now, the topic I was supposed to talk about is career burnout or business burnout. And out of all my life, what I'm going to do in the 5 minutes is share my life about that particular part, burnout. The first time I actually felt career burnout was when I was a banker. Because when I was a banker, I was an agriculture banker, and my job was to receive applications from people who wanted to borrow money to practice agriculture, process them, visit them, write the project, submit it to the board. They would be funded, and the cycle would start. Of course, after 5 years of doing that, it becomes so routine. 5 years after 5 years after writing that, it becomes so routine that at one time I felt I could actually write a project while blindfolded. So that is when I started thinking, is this it? And I started looking at other things. And that is when I started looking at politics. So it's no surprise that 6 years later, I jumped out of banking, never to look back, and went into politics. But even after getting into politics, because I was in the same ministry from beginning to end, from 1986 to 1995 beginning, I was in the same ministry. Once again, after like 5 years, 6 years, most people who I had set for further training and education and whatever had been sorted, nearly everything was flying in auto drive. I found that the Prime Minister's office was very well occupied. The President's office was very well occupied. So I'm like, for how long am I going to be Minister of Agriculture and Animal Industry and Fisheries? I started looking at alternatives. So I went to school. I left my job as a minister for 3 months, went to France and learned French because I was preparing to get out of this burnout and go into something else. How do you know you are burning out? I'll give you the specific example when I was Minister for Agriculture. As such, I was a politician. I got tired listening to people. I was not interested who was getting what and who was being treated unfairly. I even had a physical breakdown in that I was suffering from what they call chronic fatigue. So I went to and they actually gave me a 2 weeks break if I was to be useful to Uganda. So after that, I'm like, I think this is what they call burnout. I concentrated on improving myself and planning to get out. So 9 years into that job, the burnout had started, but fortunately, my exit was ready, so I left. When I left Uganda, I went to when I joined the United Nations, my job was in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was beautiful. When we went there, 1996, oh my God, everybody wanted to be in Zimbabwe. But from 2000, things started going down. And once again, I had been doing that job, the same job for the last 5 years. And I'm like, is this it? 9 years later, I had had enough. So I was very happy when I was transferred to Ethiopia to face new challenges. So what I'm trying to say is, while it is recognized that it is people who are in people services like the teachers, the medical people, the counselors who burn out. You can burn out even if, let's say, you are a business person, you are a politician, and really politicians burn out. Because I remember when I was leaving, I talked to the Prime Minister then and told him, well, I thought I loved my job. I think I've done my best. I don't think I have anything more useful to add. Now, the moment that feeling kicks in, if you really don't want to spoil whatever name you have made, I advise you to leave. But be sure that one, it is burnout, but two, whenever you get into a situation, look for the exit. Even if it is a room, look for the exits. Where are the exits? If it is a job, look for the exits. Can I grow? Can't I grow? Is there an alternative? And plan your future so that you are, one, you or two, you don't die whether you are living. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko. It is fast and inspiring and encouraging. Wow, I'm inspired in less than even 5 minutes. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to hear more. It is okay to quit. It's okay to back off sometimes if you think you are burning out. That is something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would also want to ask, just to make our Honorable Madam Victoria, to catch up easily with where we had reached. What are the initial signs of a burnout to you? What are the signs that come first when you're actually entering into a burnout that can help me know that now I'm entering a burnout?
The first feeling you get is the lack of interest. You know, when, for example, you become a minister, oh my God, you wake up every morning, you are jumping around, you are singing and all that. Now, 5 years into the job, you get a telephone call and you're like, let me pray it is not from the office. You used to jump when the office, when the president called, now you are like, oh, no, I'm tired. That is the first point of burnout. Then two, for the physical, because the first one is mental. The physical, you get tired. Like I told you, I got so tired. You put your hand and it goes on its own. So when I went to see the doctor, this physician checked and said, Madam, you are not sick. You are just chronically fatigued. So when it's that, look at your life again. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing you have is your life. Then the social, the emotional. Like I said, when you appointed minister, you are jumping, you are celebrating and all that. But when you get to a stage where even somebody calling you, oh, how Madam Minister makes you sick, then you know you are starting to burn out because the excitement has gotten out of your life. Then another thing which normally happens when you are burning out is that the family, the immediate family and friends actually get affected. Basically, because you are not there, there is that absence. You are there, but you are not there. You don't concentrate. You are not available. Let's say somebody calls to say, let us have dinner. You're like, no, this is dinner. She's paying. But the way you are answering, all those are signs that all is not well with you. And it is normally you who can decide what to do. Like when I decided to leave the job of minister, many people were like, who does that? And at that time, really, who could do that?
Well, yeah. It is actually rare to find people backing off from such big positions. It is courage.
Exactly.
It's courage and also identifying self-love, like you have said.
Another thing which some people found difficult is the fact that I left my job as a minister and went back to school for 3 months. And it didn't stop there. When I arrived in Zimbabwe, I found that they have got a number of programs for adults. So I enrolled into, when I did my diploma in finance, I was actually file representative and I went to school. Then my counseling, once again, I went to school in Zimbabwe. And of course, when you are in this class, but the class, for example, for counseling, my teachers were 20 years younger than me. Teachers. Most of my classmates were 30 years younger than me. But for me, it didn't bother me. I started there, I did all my homework, and now I'm enjoying the product.
Wow.
So if you don't want to burn out, be ready to humble yourself and do such things in preparation for your future. But one most important thing which I want everybody to remember, try as much as possible not to create enemies as you go through your life. Because when you are burning out and you meet your enemy, like things can really fall apart.
Very true. Thank you so much, Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko. It is amazing. And yes, it's okay to back off, like she said. And when you know you're backing off, you lose interest, you get fatigue and all that. And it's okay to involve in some things that somehow may look like going backward, but it's okay to go back to get a push in front. Thank you so much. And I want to know over time when you were backing off in your life and you just found yourself like, it's time to give up now. It's time. You've already told us of different scenarios, but I want that specific time when you were actually backing off from that career that you wanted so badly.
For the back, like I said, when I started to practically work in auto drive, I'm like, no, this is not working. Now, for the politics, when I started losing interest in people, because politics is about people, I started getting losing interest in people. I started getting so exhausted that I was no good to anybody, no good to my husband, my children. I'm like, no, I think I need to change. Then for Zimbabwe, when once again, when I started going into auto drive, and then at that time, Zimbabwe was going down here, and they looked at everybody who was not non-Zimbabwean as an enemy. I'm like, for me, I'm here to work. You know,
Yeah.
then you start to careful what you should say, which meetings you should attend, and so on and so forth. You see little telltale. But as I've said, whatever you do, whenever you enter anything, look for the exit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I would like to ask the question to our former speaker, Mr. Kassaga, if he's still on board. And we want to also thank you so much for being patient with us. Today we've gone beyond our time, but thank you so much. The question is, how can an employer or a leader in a different organization help out a worker or someone who's under them that is actually facing this situation of a burnout? Mr. Kassaga, you can unmute. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. And I have to say thank you to Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko, because I think her wisdom is very, very vital. And for all of us, she's told you that she's been reinventing herself ever since, even though she was with young people, younger than her, she didn't care. She just knew that this was the right thing for her. So we also need to embrace what is right for us, right? And then not creating enemies. I think I take away that wisdom too. Thank you, Honorable. Because at the end of the day, like Andrew Mwenda was saying, we should work as professionals. Yeah, it's challenging sometimes, but we should aim, even if you make that mistake, we should aim to go back and apologize. Of course, those things happen when you're working with people. Sometimes someone rubs you the wrong way, but also having the humility to return and be able to ask for forgiveness and realizing that you're in the wrong. That's also a sign of emotional intelligence. And young leaders like you are should learn that aspect of emotional intelligence to be able to know, I am wrong here. Even if someone is under you, it is still okay. It's actually a sign of strength to go back and apologize. Now, in the question that you asked, Anne, about how you help a staff member, a team member, especially who is, as an employer, who is experiencing career burnout, I think it starts with the discussions that we have. And I encourage people who are employing people here like Bakash and others to always we have our own culture is weekly meetings. Once a week we meet with our supervisees. The supervisor meets with the supervisee. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Yeah, so the supervisor meets with the supervisee, the manager meets with the person they are supervising to check in. And sometimes, you know, in a workplace, when things are going very fast, goals are running around, you start by jumping and asking about, okay, have you delivered on this goal? Have you done this? Have you achieved this? It should not be the carrot and the stick. You should check it. How are you? Now we've been in the days of COVID. How are you doing? How is your family? At Teach for Uganda, we have a culture where we have the 1 to 5, on the level of 1 to 5, how are you feeling emotionally, personally, spiritually at home? And people are able to share freely. The other piece I encourage others, we call it, like, for me personally, I call it creating psychological safety. I can work with my team members. As I speak right now, I am working in front of an M&E, monitoring and evaluation officer. I work with them no matter where we are. We have like a linear management. I don't feel like I'm the authority and everyone has to answer to me all the time. No, we work because they come with ideas. I bring ideas and we share together. So that way the employee or the team member is able to share with you saying, but I am struggling with this thing. I feel like I am tired. Then we ask, have you taken your leave? Because each of our team members has 21 days of leave. Have you taken your leave? Maybe you need to take leave and rest, take time and be with family. If you're sick, have you gone and gotten treatment? All our team members have health insurance. Are you able to get care for your health? And then if anything is beyond that, like someone mentioned, is like mental health, then we have someone on call who can help them with mental health, and they can talk about that with the HR. So ideally it's having...
James, can I add something?
Please go ahead, Honorable.
Yeah, when I got to Ministry of Agriculture, I realized that nearly the whole ministry was suffering from career burnout because we had come from the Amin era, the Obote era, and the things were just stagnant. So I told everybody who was below 50 years that you either go back to school and improve yourself or else find yourself another job. So I mobilized, I lobbied, I did whatever it takes to get scholarships for everybody. Some people said they couldn't go abroad, and I'm like, no problem, go to Makerere. Others said, no, if I go to Makerere, let me go to Tanzania. We gave them all those options. So by the time they were really sharp. I just wanted to share that. But I'm also going to, apologize for my late coming, but I've got to go now because I'm in town and I've got another meeting elsewhere. Thank you for having me.
Wow.
We are very happy to have you as well.
Yeah, I think honestly, Honorable just said it better. Like always creating also opportunities for your team to learn. Like we ask our team members to input after the evaluation of the year, to input their needs for learning, because when you're learning and you're excited, then it's easier for you not to have that career burnout because you're excited about what you're learning, you're growing. The other piece that also causes career burnout is people feel like they are stuck in the same spot. I encourage my teammates, I always tell them that try to be 1.5 times better than you were this year than last year. 1.5 times better than you were this year than last year. That means personally, spiritually, emotionally, but also career-wise, right? That way you don't feel like you're stuck. The moment you feel stuck, then it's a problem. Yeah,
thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. I have a question from the inbox. It's going to Honorable Victoria. I hope so much that she's still around. The question is, how does Honorable Victoria manage to balance an international career with a family management? If she's around, she can address that question. Okay. I think she has gone like she had requested. Let's have, please, Mr.
I need to run away too. I've been trying to ask you to run away because
yes,
I've been way beyond past my time and I need to attend to my work needs as well. And our lunchtime is coming up with the team.
Yes. So. Thank you so much for attending in with us. And we are really so happy to have you. We have been blessed and we've learned a lot from you. And we hope to have more engagements with you. Thank you so much. It's okay, you can leave now.